From the Keith Vincent Studios in Patterson, New Jersey, Green Arrow Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, The Curse of Dudleytown, Connecticut. Real or fictional? And now your host, JC3.
Welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Is This Real?
Is this real?
Tonight's episode, as you heard, Dad, we are talking about Dudleytown, Connecticut, the curse of this supposed Dudleytown. And in the booth tonight, who I have with me, I have Big Joe. Say hello.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our program.
I have the Pope himself.
I'm the Pope.
And again,
We're gonna
I'm
meet him tonight.
JC3. It's just the three of us tonight, as you can see in here. Mr. West is on a break tonight. We are talking about the Curse of Dudleyville, and that is presented by our friends at Dubby. Go to dubby.gg, and you put the code IsThisRealPC in, you get 10% off your purchase.
Cheers.
Now, guys, Dudleytown, Connecticut.
Yes.
Tell me about it. What do we have? As I remember, as I was doing the research and the first time we talked about this, it's not an actual fucking town.
No, it's not. And the crazy thing about Dudleytown is there's a lot of weird shit that's happened there. But there's almost a reasonable explanation why all of this shit has happened. Or
All right.
maybe it's not like one collective like, oh no, it's just fucked for this. No, it's...
Yeah. All right, so
something fucked up happened. We have an answer for it.
Bring it to the back at the beginning. Why is it an alleged curse? Give me the history behind the alleged curse. Who has the history there?
Well, again, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier or prior.
Before technical difficulties.
Right. That was Henry VIII, I believe it was. And I think I screwed it up at something, but there was something to do with him, and he was beheading people. Anthony, help me here, because, again, you did more about this than I did.
So King Henry VIII became king.
Yeah.
And he looked at his entire staff and said, listen, I'm firing you, but I can't let you go. So he just beheaded a whole bunch of motherfuckers. One of them was a dude named Edmund Dudley, who was like a tax collector for him. And the reason he wasn't executed was because King Henry said, you probably scammed me for some money. You're going around, you're knocking on people's doors, they're giving you, their shillings. You probably pocketed 1 out of 3. So off with his fucking head. And that's what happened. Now, Edmund's son John, he was
Dudley.
the Duke of Northumberland.
Excuse me?
This is in the old country. This is back in England where history is invented. So he's the Duke of Northumberland. And he applied to overthrow Edward the 6th.
Not the 8th.
Correct. And he was going to do that by marrying his son.
Excuse the fuck out of me?
No, not you let me finish. He was going to marry his son to Lady
Okay.
Jane Grey.
Okay, I got you.
Right?
In the words of my Uncle Keith, that gave me nerve.
But that fucked up.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. They realized that, hey, you're trying to fuck me by rerouting this marriage type of thing. So they got decapitated. Like, a lot of Kappas were detated during this time.
Kappas was detated.
Right. There was another brother who returned from England and from France, and he was infected with the plague. And, he gave that to everybody. So people were dying. So you have 2 Dudleys so far were decapitated. Another Dudley had the plague. There was the Earl of Leicester, which is another Dudley boy. He fucking disappeared. We don't know where the fuck he went. So there's a lot of like Dudleys around this time who were off with their heads and sick and dying and went missing. Well, one of those Dudleys apparently made his way over to the United States.
Who was that?
This would have been Abil and Barzil. I'm gonna fuck this up. Barzilali.
I don't want you
Dudley.
ever to
Motherfucker, no one spells their name like this. I'm just gonna call them Abe and Barry Dudley. They settled in Cornwall, Connecticut. And then they were joined by Gideon Martin Obijah Dudley. So you had all these Dudleys living in like one part of town. That's really what it is. It's like a couple of houses at the end of the block, and this family, they're all cousins or whatever the fuck, they live there. So that's Dudleyville.
Well,
kind of like we call our houses Keola Compound, because there's two of them right next to each other.
So now if you don't know what our last name is, now you do.
There you go. Now this is
Dudleytown.
Dudleytown.
There's also, apparently, if I'm reading this right here, they also settled it with a guy named Thomas Griffiths.
Thomas Griffiths was the man who founded Cornwall in 1783. The Dudleys came in about 10 years later.
Okay.
They're like the Hansons.
This is telling me
They
early
brought the
7.
fucking toys with them.
First of all, this is telling me early 1740s.
Yeah, that's when the Dudleys got there.
Yeah, so they founded this in the early 17. You said 1780s.
No. Excuse me. No, I didn't. In the 1730s, Griffiths founded the town. In the 1740s, the Dudleys showed up.
Okay.
And they might have brought their curse and all their fucked up people.
Well, what curse though?
Well,
Like,
I mean,
that's
they
what
had
I'm
really
trying to-
bad luck.
Bad luck is one thing, like, but it's bad luck that they're sitting as if you read it from there. Then what I'm listening to you, it's bad luck from
England.
their own shit
Well, I mean, you had a couple of great uncles who were beheaded. Another one
because
like,
of what they did to the king or were trying to do to the king. Like
You
that's
know-
not really a curse.
you know
You know
what
what
Well,
I
wait,
mean?
it gets so much better.
Yeah. What I'm seeing, what I'm getting so far, I think that this is something that they brought over here. I don't know about a curse and all, but what happened is it actually got over time, it got a life of its own.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
it's in the middle of the woods. It's dark.
Well, my
Nobody
question-
can get to it.
My question for you is:
Missing
at that point,
people, you know, I mean,
before settled America, isn't everything middle of the woods? Like
Yeah,
not
yeah.
on the coast. You know what I mean? Like
true.
Oh, it gets so much better. So let's.
All right, go on,
We're gonna
go
jump
on.
to 1792. You
where
have
Columbus sailed the ocean. That's 1492.
you have
Sorry.
Gershon Hollister. He's living. He's enjoying himself. Now we have two different accounts. One account is he died by falling off of a structure, like they're raising a barn. And they're gonna have a dance on Friday, so they're making a barn on Monday. He fell off, fucked up, and died. Right? That's one account. The other account is he was killed in the house of a man named William Tanner.
Bless you.
Ultimately,
Thank you.
Tanner was found innocent, but according to legend, he was really fucked up from that moment on. It said that he died insane and occasionally would rant and rave about demons he saw walking in the woods. And let's face facts, these people, they didn't open up the back patio and have the pool and the barbecue and then like a couple 100 yards there was trees.
Right.
The woods were just like right outside.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if he was like standing out like taking a piss, he saw some shit in the woods
Yeah.
and it fucked him up. So that's 1792, right? Let's jump to Sorry.
No, you're good. Go.
Let's back up a little bit.
Okay. now we're going back.
1764. This guy named Nathaniel Carter, he lived in Dudleytown.
Right.
He moves to Binghamton, New York.
Okay.
He goes away for a few days on a trip. Native Americans raid his home, kill his wife and children. He comes back, finds their corpse, and then the Indians are like, "Oh, it's that motherfucker! Get him! Kill him too." So now you have a resident of Dudleytown who gets the gank, right?
Okay.
But again, this is the mid 1760s.
When there were no laws.
No laws. We're still the American War for Independence hadn't even started yet.
Right.
And we're still trying to deal with the Indian problem. That happened.
Oh, dear God.
1804. General Herman Swift fought in the Revolutionary War underneath George Washington. He lives up there. His wife gets struck by lightning.
Jesus Christ.
She's on the porch. Her name was Sarah Fay. Killed instantly. The general goes nuts. He dies shortly after. Okay? Then we have a oh, I'm fucking this one up. I don't want
I'm going to tell you exactly what Dudleytown is about when you're done.
There's another woman who died in Dudleytown. She's buried in the Greenwood Cemetery. Her name was Mary. I don't have her last name. The legend is, Mary Greenlee, said that she committed suicide, but her husband ran for the president and lost the bid. So this is like 1870s.
Okay.
Can I interject here for a second?
Hold on a second.
Okay.
She dies. So there's another death in Dudleytown. Although sources say that she wasn't even in Dudleytown. She lived more in Cornwall than Dudleytown. So kind of like in the same area. She gets lumped in.
Right.
John Patrick Brophy. Okay? His wife dies, which was, she got sick and died. And then 2 of his kids go into the woods. They're never seen again. They disappear in the woods. And while that could have been just like really fucking unfortunate, his house burned to the ground in an unexplained fire. And then he walks into the woods and is never seen again. So there goes Brophy.
Okay, can I interject?
I'm still not done.
Hold on. I know. Can I just interject you?
Go ahead.
As more I'm reading, at least from a lot.
I only have one more person, by the way.
Okay. There's a lot of missing people's cases linked to this place.
3 of them so far, yeah.
And you're only in the. I do have something to add after. I'll let you get to your last person, and then I want to backtrack a little bit because
Sure.
I found some information.
In 1900, Dudleytown was pretty much gone. Like, people have moved the fuck out. So you go from like 1740s to 1900, 150 years, and the town's like, get fucked. Well, not Cornwall, just like section of Cornwall, Dudleytown.
Okay.
In 1924, Dr. William Clark, a cancer specialist from New York, buys about 1,000 acres on Bald Mountain, which is like, right there. It's part of Dudleytown. Him and his wife lived there until one summer he went to New York on business. He returned 2 days later, less than 2 days later, and his wife was upstairs laughing maniacally. She had gone insane in those 2 days. No one knows why.
I can tell you why.
Hold on a second. And then she dies. A couple years later, he's remarried. He still owns the house in Dudleytown. Him and his wife, Carita, start what's known as the Dark Entry Forest Association. And that was to act as like a reserve, guard for the Dudleytown, and to keep its like natural beauty. Mind you, people have been saying right along it's very quiet in Dudleytown. It's very hard to farm there, and there's no wildlife. But you want to protect its natural beauty. And now if you try to get into Dudleytown, you fucking can't, because this Dark Entry Forest Association won't let anyone in there. And you know what's left? Just foundations and basements. Like, there's nothing there to see, but they still won't let you in. And that's Dudleytown.
Well, let's just put it like this. I do have some information to go back, and I know we're about to take a short break. But Dad, do you want to add something before
No,
our break?
I'll wait till after break.
All right, so we'll take a short break right here, guys, and we'll be right back and talk more about this mysterious Dudleytown. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, I'm JC3.
And I'm Mr. West.
And this episode is brought to you by Dubby. Made by professionals in the USA, Dubby was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash.
No jitters.
Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, including the patented Neurofactor.
Neurofactor.
You know what Dubby doesn't give you?
What's that?
No calories,
No calories.
no sugars,
No sugar.
no fillers,
No fillers.
and no artificial flavors. When the raw ingredients arrive to their FDA-registered and inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP guidelines, they undergo a quarantine while a small sample of each ingredient is taken to test for any impurities, while also being tested to ensure that the ingredients are actually what they are supposed to be and have the proper dosage.
And once the ingredients pass all the tests, then they're cleared to get mixed into the formula. So head on over to w.gg and use our offer code IsThisRealPC for 10% off your first order. That's DUBBY.GG and use the code IsThisRealPC for 10% off. They have great flavors such as Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, Pass and Joy Tea, Monkey Madness, and Dragonade. My personal favorites.
Dragonade's right here. I got Dragonade right here. Delicious.
Drink Dubby.
And be better.
These products are not intended to diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hello, this is JC3 speaking. If you want to know more about Is This Real Podcast and our parent company Green Hour Media, then visit greenhourmedia.org. You can find and follow all of our social media pages through our website. If you love our content, then you can support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and our Patreon page. Remember, that is greenhourmedia.org.
And welcome back to our Dudleytown episode, again presented by W Energy Drinks. Just to recap what you said, and a lot of shit has happened in Dudleytown since.
Spooky dooky.
Yes, a lot of spooky dooky shit has happened since
Motherfuckers
1740.
went crazy. Motherfuckers went missing.
Yeah. I do want to
Rick lost his
backtrack.
cat.
I do want to backtrack just real quick because I came across something which to me is interesting because if we're going to talk about the curse, and maybe this can go into more of what Dad was talking about in between.
What Dad's feeling.
What Dad's feeling. He was telling us in between.
I'll get to that when you.
I'll just go right into it. Just listen. So, let's go back to when the Dudleys came over from England,
Yes.
which would be the three sons, which would be Robert. Where is it? I'm sorry. Robert's son is John Dudley. John Dudley's son is Robert, and then his three sons, Abiel, Barzillai, and Gideon. See, I said that correctly.
I still don't think you said it correct. I'm just going to call him
Barzillai.
Barry.
Look at it.
It's
So-
Barry.
So they bought a plot in Cornwall Township, and that's where Dudley. So there goes. While there are undoubtedly some grim events that surrounded the Dudley family in England and France, questions have been raised on whether or not they are cursed, and it followed them to America. The question has been raised because in order to be for the curse to have been passed along to account for the hauntings of Dudleytown, then William Dudley would have to have been the son of Robert, but he wasn't. Robert Dudley had only two sons, and one of them died while still a child, and the other went to Italy while he had children. All of them remained in Italy. This means there is no link between William and his sons who founded Dudley and any so-called curse.
You know, I read that too, and right there, that goes to show you what I said at the beginning of the show, that there is like, oh, something's cursed, and you're like, wait a minute, is it really cursed? Let's backtrack, because the first thing is, oh, it came from England when all those old Dudleys got their heads lobbed off. Probably not. If they did the genealogy and they were to trace it back, no, it's just a weird coincidence that you had a bunch of Dudleys iced over in England, and you have Dudleytown founded, and some weird shit happens in Dudleytown around the same time the descendants would have made their way over if they had made their way over.
Yeah. So if you
Who
look at that,
knows?
I don't think it's from if there is a so-called curse. I don't think it's from the Dudleys itself.
Not at all.
But again, this is going into what Dad was saying. So, Dad, go right into what
You
are
know,
you
again,
thinking?
this is conjecture on my part.
And
but
again, we still haven't got to the end where we think what this is. But let's go.
I totally believe that nothing happens. And when you have a group of stuff that happens, like you were just saying, all the murders and the people gone crazy,
Yeah.
and it all happens in one area, you can't convince me that there's not something out there that's doing this. Now, do I believe that this curse came over from England? No, I do not. I believe it was a precursor to, some bad shit that went over there, but they came over here, and something drew them to this area. This area, to me, is actually cursed. And if you really look at the map, you're going to see Indians throughout the thing, and they were very good at putting curses on people. See, Utah. See what they did out there, with the skinwalkers and everything else like that. Shit that you can't explain.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how you try to put a finger on it, no matter how you sit there and you say, well, you know what, we're going to talk about this rationally, you can't come up with anything rational. You can't say, well, she went crazy because. You can't say this one walked into the woods because. Now, one person, two people walking into the woods disoriented, they're done. We've gone through that on previous shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the Vermont case or whatever. But
And the one woman was struck by lightning.
okay, so again, all right, I'll even take that out. When you have people now that have gone there and they've recorded paranormal, when you've got stuff that cannot be explained and it's so much of it, then you got to start leaving the door open, shall we say, to this could be paranormal. It could have something to do with the land that has been cursed. There's a whole thing in here about the actual soil. There's something in the soil that doesn't allow stuff to grow.
Yep.
Now, that doesn't happen by circumstance. That doesn't happen by, well, somebody spilled the chemical there. Okay, can you show me where the chemical's are? Now, what I can say, if you want to take that part out of here about, all right, it's an Indian curse, when they went there and they tried to get the Freedom of Information Act and it came back all redacted from the government a year later for missing people, and I got that right in front of me.
From the website I-95, right?
Right. Now, I'm looking at this. You can't find out anything on there. It's all redacted. You got to ask yourself why. What is the government protecting?
Especially since the
there?
case is about two guys who went into the woods and got lost and called the police. The police actually led them out.
Right.
It wasn't like there has been missing people in that Dudleytown area. But in the case that you're talking about, the police led them out, but the notes on the report are redacted.
What did they find? See, but then
Or are
again,
they covering up?
right? But see, now that again, you can also put a pin in that bubble. You can turn around and say, well, all this other stuff happened with the people that got crazy, the woman that got crazy, and then the husband went missing. That all happened prior to the government involvement.
Could have been, yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking, and this is purely conjecture on my part, I think the place was cursed by Indians, and these people somehow were drawn to this place, exasperating the, maybe that's not the word I want to use, well, taking the energy of the land and having crazy stuff happen to them, and at the same token, the government stepping in and going, this is a perfect place to do something stupid. Let's dump some toxic waste here. Or it could be that the government knows this and really doesn't want to expose this, because who knows what the government's involved with say, and I know this is going to sound crazy, I admit it before I say it, but the government has got their hands on a lot of crazy stuff. The Germans were accused of being involved in the occult, which they were. Who's to say that our country wasn't involved with occult-like things? We don't know that. But there's only one explanation that gives you from the 1700s or the 1500s, whatever date you want to use, to now, and then have everything being covered up by the government.
I could see that if there was a history with natives there. You know what I mean?
There is.
As far as anything that I'm reading, any of these settlers, I mean, if you're talking about people that were there, the natives that were there before these settlers even happened, we don't have anything to say that there was a curse or anything like that might have been put
Again,
there.
it's pure conjecture on my part.
Yeah, there's
and
also
there's no, I mean, at least what I've been reading and I've been trying to find. I don't know if you've come across it, Anthony. There's no between the settlers of Dudleytown or Cornwall, and because Cornwall is the town itself, Dudleytown is just a little section of Cornwall, and they didn't come in crosshairs with any natives or stuff like that. So
Well, I mean, listen. We don't know what is considered sacred to any group of Native Americans, and it could have been land that they didn't use. Like, I know that Native Americans believe that some land has an energy to it, and they don't fuck with it. They just don't go over there.
yeah.
So it's like, if you're seeing the bunch of people start moving onto land that you don't fuck with, it's like, don't tell the white men. You know what I mean? It's like, just walk away. Let them figure it out.
Bringing out that inner George Carlin.
That's
Well,
right.
I mean, I guess you can say that.
Whitey's in for a bad night.
I don't know. Like I said, if you're sitting here and you're looking through history, there's a lot of unexplained things that just don't have history behind it.
You know, no
Like,
one's
if
writing
it's-
shit down.
No one's writing shit down about just an empty space of land. You know what I mean? Like,
But going off the idea that there's an energy with the land and something like this place feels fucked up, we don't know why.
Dad, you were saying something in between the thing that, well, I know, Aunt, you said that the Warrens were there, and they
That's what I
said-
was trying to bring up, you fuck.
Well, you know what? I'll start
Yeah.
it, and Anthony can bring.
Well, no, that's really all I said. In the 1970s, I was reading that Ed and Lorraine Warren did a special, or went to Dudleytown, and their idea, or Lorraine was like, this place is demonically, the place is like demonically possessed, or demonically, like there's a demonic presence in these woods surrounding this place. Okay, that's enough for me to shit my pants and not want to go there. I don't need the t-shirt. So I can just say, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for me to go. So I'm good.
The way what words you have. I swear to God.
It's like most people, like, they show up to a place to buy the gold chain, the gift shop, the fucking keychain. I'm good. Thank you.
Well, there is a book here. It's called Dark Entry.
Oh, my.
Entire tourism of fucking Dudleytown just got wiped out. Thank you.
Well, you can't have any fucking tours there because the fucking spooky society doesn't let
You
anyone
know,
in.
I got a whole line of mugs. I survived Dudleytown. Now I got to throw them out.
Well, look, there is a book called
They'll
Dark.
sue you.
There's a book called Dark Entry. It's by John.
Watch
John
the porno called Dark Entry.
Shut up, John B. Kachuba. God bless you. It says Dark Entry is told in both the present and the 18th century and based loosely on the New England Native American folklore. So, and the author's significant knowledge concerning matters based in the paranormal. So it's about Dudleytown, Connecticut. So it's a book based on the folklore but what Native American folklore of Dudleytown? I have not come across anything like that.
Again, is it's repressed history. You don't know. Again, you don't know what Indians were out there. This is something, Joe, you got a Freedom of Information Act that you can't get information on. That there is critical information somewhere in a computer system in Cornwall, Connecticut, or in Hartford, Connecticut in their system, but somehow it's secret.
Well,
You got to ask yourself why.
This is the book. Because the concept of dark entry is enticing and historically curious, especially if those details based in myth and tradition have been fully explored. The author chooses to deal with the mysterious history in a base, superficial matter, and the same writing style can regularly be attributed to the entire novel. The concept is promising, the execution is lacking. Oh, okay, that's not a... The novel contains one cringe... Okay, so basically it's
like it's full of shit.
yeah, Sandy Lawrence, with the help of her friend, chooses to hide, escaping her abusive partner. What follows is a tale of lingering evil spirits, redemption, things that go bump in the night, things that Sandy doesn't believe in. So
Okay, I'm gonna bring something up here that I read again in the book that I got up there, the Demonologist by Gerard Brittle. In the same token, the Connecticut, there was a farmhouse where you had like a driveway that was like a quarter mile long, and it was set back in the woods where no one got to. It was one farmhouse. A couple bought the house, and I'm not talking about The Conjuring. I'm talking about, I can't remember off my noggin what the names were.
Yeah.
But this guy literally had fist fights with demons. They would come in and at one point
I'm not coming to possess you, Jamal.
well, no, at one point he couldn't see what was going on. It was driving his family crazy. And he lashed out and he went to punch one of these things. And he punched the air.
know,
But he says he made contact with this thing.
Yo, I swear
Again,
to God,
it's
I
in
can
that
see
part
that,
of
bro.
Connecticut.
This man
It's
was
like-
boxing Beelzebub?
Bro, it's
No.
like, you know what? Fuck all this. Post up.
No. Well, my point I'm trying to make
Post up,
that
motherfucker.
Area, that area, there's got to be something to it.
Well,
I mean,
think
that's
about it.
just
Okay,
me.
so if that area of New England, we all know how fucked New England
I
is.
know I'm going to rent this dark entry. I can tell you that much.
We all know how fucked that area of New England is. You know, football teams, baseball teams, whatever. You know what I mean. That area is very historically depth. You know, there's a lot of deep
History?
shit there.
It happens because that area was the first part of the country that was settled.
Well, at
You
least
had
by the
ancient-
white man.
Well, you had people that are coming in from England, from the first
Yeah.
settlers are coming in here with their superstitions. dark woods. People don't know where they are. It's disorienting. You don't know what's going on.
Well,
but if
and
they
you
stumble,
have and the natives there.
and if they start shooting the natives and killing the natives, and the natives go, no, fuck this, I'm going to curse the land. Again, they're not going to write it down. I curse the land today. Get out of my. They're not going to do that. They know in their head that they curse the land.
No, I get that. I get all that. But what I'm saying is that, just like the West, just like the desert, that area is deep with shit also.
Right.
Like,
I agree.
to me, I think that the desert's more fucked up because the desert shit happens there today.
You see, the thing with the difference between the desert and with the woods, to me, if I want to go to the desert, and I'll tell you why, because it's wide open.
that.
I can see what's in front of me. I can see. I mean, I know. It gets dark, but you know what? I flash a light. There's no tree in my way. I can see. 150 feet in the woods. I've been in the woods at night. It is no picnic when you don't know where you are and you just you're frightened beyond belief. I've been there. Okay, and who knows what that plays in the psyche of people. That could also very well, be some of the reasons why these people went missing. Again, it's just conjecture on my part.
No, I'm good. I don't want to be in the fucking desert. I want to be in the fucking woods. I want to see buildings. I want to see skyscrapers.
You're a city boy, Anthony. So am I, actually.
I want to be able to go on my phone,
Let's put it like
DoorDash
this,
from
Dan.
7-Eleven.
When we were going through North Carolina during the hurricane, being chased by a fucking tornado, was I shitting myself?
You were. You're absolutely right. It was time to be afraid because we were in a place we didn't know where they were.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, Billy Joe Bob Ray that lived up the street.
Billy Joe Bobber, Jesus.
Okay, if he was living in that area, he's not going to be afraid because he was born and raised there.
I see some Yankees. We're going to have good dinner
Except for
tonight.
the guy that was, at the gas station trying to get the gas thing out because that guy was a plain fucking
If you
moron.
listen, guy.
If you were the guy back in...
Let's just put it like this. I didn't want to be a part of the menu the next morning, all right?
All right, all right, whatever. Come on.
Anywho. But yeah, so as far as this, we'll take a short little break after this. As far as the Dudleys themselves, I don't think that the curse actually happened from the Dudleys, because if this is true and what they're saying that there was no fucking Dudleys lineage from the people who started the curse in England
I agree.
that were there, it can't be them. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But as far as it could be that you said something about there's a doorway on the mountain or some shit like that before.
The people, okay. I'll read this to you. This is a blog from the movie Dark Entry. It's a horror movie. Again, horror movie directed by Thomas David Dean.
So it's a movie about the book I just read.
Well, I guess so, and it's from 2016. Well, it doesn't say that. It just says, actually, the guy directed it and he starred in it, so it's probably one of them high school low budget. But here's the kicker. Regardless of the real curse of Dudleytown, Connecticut, there is an energy that goes beyond human understanding. Ancient religions were based on the earth and its energies. Most ancient religions believed that the tops of the mountains were a doorway, a portal to another world because they were closer to the heavens than anywhere else. That's the synopsis from the movie Dark Entry.
I'll leave everybody with this thought.
Okay.
With that being said, and I know Anthony, you're gonna completely disagree with me.
Climb a fucking mountain. There's no door. I'm going to be pissed.
He's completely disagree with me. I think you're gonna have people before modern technology, before all the distractions we have as a society now.
Right.
Religion and spirituality, in whatever form it was, is what most people had to back themselves up.
Exactly.
Do tell.
The problem.
So what I'm saying is, I could see things being more spiritual and people being more close and more fragile to spirits and stuff like that as far as 300 years ago.
So you're saying the reason why people aren't as possessed today as they were 300 years ago is we have TV and YouTube?
We have more distractions.
Close, and I'll tell you why. You're not far. What the difference is, it's a double-edged sword. What you have is back in the 1700s, you don't have modern technology, so we got to blame it on something.
Yeah.
So you might have had a person that had rabies and you don't know it, so he's foaming at the mouth. Oh God, you know what? He's possessed. Modern science comes along and we prove it. Well, no, he's not possessed. He just got bit by a raccoon in the corner. All right. Now that's. Some people want to label all of it.
Well, okay.
Hold on a minute. You get these scientists that I can explain everything.
Yeah.
But when you can't explain everything, they don't even want to give you an answer.
my thing with that is also
No, that's not
Hold on.
true.
Hold on.
Here we go.
My thing with that also, and again, you could tell me I'm wrong,
I'm gonna get a bell
you're
for
wrong.
this, like, ding,
and
ding.
I could tell you, Dad, I don't think you're gonna tell me I'm wrong.
I'll tell you you're wrong.
I know you're gonna tell me I'm wrong. But if we go back in history and we read what most of these demons, and we read up on what these demons are, and these demonologists who study this, the more you believe in that particular thing, the more power it holds over you.
It does to a point.
So let's go back 300 years where these people like sat there and like, oh no, there's a demon up there.
Right.
They're more power, and like now we can sit there and go, it's not a demon.
Exactly.
right?" So there's no power being held. Again, it's a not a hot take,
So
but
let me-
it's a take. Again, I know you probably don't think that way, and that's why you're just sitting there staring nothing and just staring at
Well,
me.
I'm waiting to answer what Dad said before.
It's more of I do think because we have more distractions and we have more and be honest, these days people have led more away from spirituality, away from religion than anything else, because of all this distraction. People have gotten lazy.
I don't think there's demons in hell walking around like I could possess Susie if she wasn't watching so much porn. The fucking Nintendo Game Switch came out, and my next week's possessions just came off the board. Now my schedule's open.
That's not what I mean.
No. As far as
No.
as far as scientists not giving you an answer,
I think I you know what I think? I think West decided because of the content of tonight's fucking show, he wasn't even coming near this fucking studio.
as far as what you said about scientists, I don't even want to give you an answer. That's not true. The answer is there's something else I'm not seeing here, but there's an answer there. I just can't tell you what that answer is right now because I'm not in a position to gather the evidence in a meaningful way to give you that answer.
Okay, I can accept that. I'll accept your answer, and somewhat I believe you're right. But where I draw the line at that is you can't paint everything with one brush. Just like I said, back in the day, we didn't know about rabies. But as soon as we found out about rabies, well, check that off the mark.
Right.
Now,
Not painting anything with one brush.
going forward, when little Billy's sitting in his bedroom, and all of a sudden he rises off the bed 4 feet and does a complete 360 and slams into the room, into the wall, which has been known to happen. I want you to get your group of scientists
I say
together,
put 'em on the Knicks.
and I want you to sit there and go, I can't explain that.
Hold on a
he's
second.
bleeding over, but
What's
something
the
happened.
first thing?
Thanks.
What's the first thing that when you do when you request an exorcism from the church?
It's a mental evaluation.
The first thing is that they get science involved.
You're right, and it's the proper thing to do. Again, but
exactly.
You can't hold science hostage where you can say, you know what, I don't understand that, but something happened, and I can understand it to a point. Maybe the foaming in the mouth, but when the person is coughing up nails, been done, documented, or a person literally is sitting in his bedroom,
Child speaking Latin backwards.
or he rises off his bed and he gets slammed into a wall, or little Johnny goes out for a stroll. The problem is he's strolling up the side of the fucking wall. Okay, then he's walking across the ceiling. All documented stuff. The scientists then
Or
do
that
not.
Miley Cyrus has a career.
The scientists at that point cannot say, I can explain this if I knew what was going on. Well, thank you, Mr. Intuitive, but yeah, we all can explain it when we know.
Well,
when that's involved, you can't explain it.
okay. Before we get into this religion versus
No,
science,
it's not
It's
going
not
there.
that. It's not going there.
we're gonna take a short little break and then we'll come back to finish off this episode. But remember, go to w.gg. Our episode's presented by W. Go to w.gg, punch in the code IsIsraelPC, and you get 10% off your order. We'll be right back.
If you liked this video today, please click the like and subscribe button and make sure to hit the notification icon to keep up with all our videos.
And welcome back to our episode of Is This Real? Dudleytown, presented by W. So as we continue this conversation, as we get to the ending part of our episode, the question is, I'll throw it out at the beginning. Do you believe in this curse? Like, do you believe that this place is cursed?
You're asking me.
Well, I'm just throwing it out. I'll start with you.
I do believe it's cursed, but I don't want to use the term Dudleytown. I'm going to use it only because it is in Dudleytown, if there is such a place, or in the area of Dudleytown.
It would be the
Cornwall.
Bald Mountains in
Right.
Cornwall.
Because of what happened with the Dudleys, you're going to have to call it Dudleytown. Do I believe it was from the Dudleys? Absolutely, I do not. I believe that somewhere along the line, this place has been cursed, and it has done something to the people who tried to settle it or the people who are involved in it. Now, again, we brought in the government conspiracy part of it. That needs a little bit more looking into.
That's more of a stretch.
Yeah, it is more of a stretch, but I'm going to leave the door open, a crack on that.
Yeah, no, you have
But
to.
I do believe there is something going on there. And even if I didn't believe it, if Lorraine Warren said it to be so, I agree with. I will believe her because I trust her.
She said that
impeccably.
if I'm correct, Ann, she said that it's filled with demons, right?
It's possessed. The area is possessed.
And this is the same woman who'll tell you that items cannot be possessed. Only people can be possessed. So for her to go out and make that statement, that's a red flag for me. That means if she's going to put that kind of onus on this, then there's a problem there somewhere. And I trust her implicitly.
Well, I do. I mean, Lorraine Warren really is. If I'm going to go by talking about anything like demonic or spiritual, because she's a clairvoyant, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah. That means you're very sensitive to any of these. Again, if you believe in that.
She took, apparently they were taking, like, students to Dudleytown. Like, so next week's class, we're going to be in the spooky place.
Yeah, I want to see the Spooky Society tell Ed and Lorraine Warren to fuck off.
Well, I'd like to see I'd like to meet up with some of these people. So if you are listening to our program and you are one of the students of Ed and Lorraine Warren, check the link in the bio and contact us. I'd love to talk to you.
Someone
because
has to
there's
send-
going to be another. There's going to be another
You
part
know what,
to this
Dad?
story.
You know what we need to do is contact John Zaffis. I want to talk to John Zaffis.
All right, I will contact John Zaffis tomorrow, just before he hangs up to me on making. No, you know what? We have press credentials now, so I can use them. So
We do?
We do?
we are a legitimate company, so yeah, we have press credentials.
I'm going to have to use those credentials.
Can you get those credentials to get me
You
into?
can't get into fucking, hustler fucking.
I'm here for I just show up. I'm like, no, really. I'm here to write an article. Just let me in.
But
Is
yeah,
this real? We're talking about breast implants.
if I'm gonna go on the limb and believe anybody about that, it's gonna be Lorraine. Again, if you believe in that, I know there's a lot of people who don't believe in that. What about you, Ed? Are you gonna be? I feel like it's either you're gonna be on the fence or you're gonna say no, I don't believe it's a curse.
I don't know. I think a lot of weird shit
Just
happened
don't
there.
say either one of you are going to be on a limb because that limb's not going to be there for long. That's all I got to say.
I don't know. Like the chick who was
Fuck
struck
you.
by lightning, big fucking deal. Like it sucks to be her. The other
Fucking asshole! Jesus
Sorry to
Christ!
her family by any chance.
I'm sorry that you
Couple of
just got
kids went-
barbecued.
couple of kids went missing in the woods. That sounds like a Wednesday in like any rural place. I don't know. Like it's very weird. Like accidents happen.
All I know is I did read one thing in here that apparently one Dudley married one of the boys' son or married the daughter. I don't know. That sounds very incestual.
I don't know anything about
That sounds more incestual than West Virginia does. I mean, it's very fucked up.
I think it's strange that there's something.
What?
I don't want to cut out West Virginia viewers.
Am I wrong,
I like West Virginia.
Anthony? Am I wrong?
No, there's a lot of weird family things happening in the Appalachia.
Okay, well,
West Virginia.
Mountain Mama.
I like West Virginia. Don't send your hate mail to me.
And you could move there.
Yeah, you enjoy it. Wee-wee.
All right, go on, Ant.
I don't know. Like, there's a lot of weird shit that happened here, obviously. I can't say it's cursed. I mean, people getting struck by lightning, that happens.
All right,
People
so-
go missing in the wood, that
Okay,
happens.
my question for you is: are you going to ignore what Lorraine Warren said, or are you a big believer in what the Warrens do, or no?
See, here's the weird shit. I think Lorraine had something. She was connected to the supernatural somehow.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is when it comes to psychics, they don't understand their own abilities. They know how to use it, but they don't understand where it comes from, and they don't understand how to
Even after all the years that she's had
they don't
practice?
understand how to explain it correctly, so you're only taking their word for it. And they do bring up a lot of, like, they find things, and they were able to talk to things and perform seances and all that shit. And I do believe some of the things that the Warrens went through, right? But here's the cynic in me. It's like, okay, Ed died. Lorraine, you talk to the dead all the time. What does your husband have to say for this? Doesn't happen. She won't speak about it or whatever. Okay, fine. She's dead now.
Okay.
No one's like, she's like, if you can communicate from the dead from this side, why can't you communicate from the living from that side?
Okay, I'm going to give you a little insight into Ed and Lorraine Warren. Very holy, very religious people.
Yeah, I know that.
To be a demonologist, you're not going to be a lackey. You're not going to do stupid shit. So therefore, their faith has to be impeccable. That's number one. Number two, Lorraine Warren would never actively contact Ed in the afterlife because that is against church policy. It would never happen to her. Now I'm not saying that if Ed tried to contact her from the other side, that who knows? We don't know. But for her to
I don't think she would tell anybody.
she's not going to actively seek out Ed over there because she realized that Ed is passed for a reason. Ed is on to his next journey or wherever he's going, and he's probably waiting for her on the other side or whatever she believes in. But as a practicing Catholic, to have to use that power, to have to be blessed in every possible way to continue the work she's doing. Did or whatever, but when you live in a house and you got that fucking museum there, you're gonna want as much holy stuff on your side as you can get.
I'm filling the fucking, what do you call the super soakers with holy water?
Right. See that? I mean, they literally had.
Fuck the super soakers. I'm blessing a fucking fire truck.
They had a priest come. They had a priest come in once a month to bless it.
God bless Public Works and hook it up to a fire hydrant.
that right there will tell you why Ed. I know you want to say, well, she should have contacted her husband. She was never going to. And that's purely from the religious aspect of what she was and what she
And you gotta respect
believed.
that.
And you got to respect her. Now, I'm sure if she sat there with a crystal ball or however they do it and wanted to do it, I'm sure it crossed her mind a few times. I want to talk to my beloved Ed. I want to see what he said. What's like on the other side? Then she's realized, you know what? I love Ed, but I also have to go to heaven. So I don't want to step on those toes. And as a practicing Catholic, if I ever am needed again, I don't want to have to ask Jesus to help me or ask my or God or Jesus or whatever or the saints to help me, and they snub their nose at me because I'm not a clean Catholic. Just like every exorcist has to be pure of the most pious of people. You don't just show up one day and fill out an application. Today I feel like chasing demons today.
Well, 'cause,
doesn't happen. You are selected.
Is that why Father Karras in The Exorcist is such like a double-sided sword? Because Father Karras was like, I smoke, I drink, I have a shady past. He should not have been an exorcist. And yet he was brought in to be.
Well, again, the reason why, again, it's a fictional account.
I know. I'm just saying,
he
like,
was brought in because he was
The demon would sit there and chew up a priest if he was touching a kid. Like, why are you here if you're touching that little boy?
No one's talking about that.
No,
well, that's what I'm saying.
But he's right. He's not wrong. Joey, I believe what you're trying to say is you need to be free of any, as much as free of imperfection as you can. Now, you're never going to get perfect. There's only one guy, and he's hanging on a cross. If you're going to be an exorcist, you have to be very, very pious. And again, you're selected. You're put through rigorous training, and you can't have any blemishes on there that the demon or the entity can use against you, because it will. It'll try. It'll dig up shit. Like if you were like little Timmy in the 10th grade and you were fondling little Teresa's asshole, you know what? It's gonna come out. It's gonna say something.
Why you do this to me, Davey?
Well, exactly. It'll use anything it can.
Back to Dudleyville.
I don't think so.
Again,
no.
that's what I'm
Dudleytown.
trying to talk. You
Yeah.
brought that up.
No, I know.
You make a good point. I'm gonna say. Let me finish. I'm gonna say no. I mean, I'm on the fence. Weird shit happened.
That's a strong fence.
Could it be like a Native American thing where the land was cursed and no one knew about the curse because they didn't write it down on the bulletin board? Maybe. It's like, hey, just don't set up houses over there.
The bulletin board with the rec center.
Yeah.
No pool tonight, folks. I mean, come
They
on.
didn't put it up at the Cornwall Night Center, the rec house.
What Native
was just a log
Americans
cabin.
would put it like you're saying it like the Native Americans do have a rec house. We curse this land here, and next week we have archery on Tuesday. You know what I mean? It's like,
Don't go down in 2 blocks.
bro, like the fuck. Nah,
Something.
2 blocks down.
like I
Don't build
said-
houses.
Okay, I'll answer. I do believe it's. I don't think it's cursed, because I think it has to be a deeper thing for a curse. Could it be haunted? Could it be possessed, as Lorraine said? I could sit there and go down that road instead of like cursed.
Let me give you a little insight. if it is possessed, it's not going to be because one day the demons, like you said, decided, today I got my schedule. I'm going to go possess this patch of land. They're brought there for a reason.
If it's
they
cursed,
need,
like,
they
we're
need
supposed
to be
curse people.
They need to be
We're gonna move in right
invited.
here.
They need to be invited through witchcraft or through
Well,
something.
okay, so that opens up the door for that question then. Hold on, but if you're going to go down that road of witchcraft, this is the time period that witchcraft was happening.
Well, yeah, but they were also putting
Yes and
motherfuckers
no.
to, like, hanging them. Like, a woman could, like, accidentally sneeze and, like, a fire could spark
No,
up. And,
I
like,
understand
hang that bitch.
that. I completely
I
understand
believe it was.
that.
You're talking about the 1750s, this or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah.
17
It's well past that. The 60s.
Exactly. That was the
By the
1600s.
1700s, that was already. They were like, no, you know what? She's got a rash because she sat in the chair too long. She's not possessed by anything. Rational people start doing rational thinking.
We started turning around like, maybe we shouldn't have killed all those bitches back then.
Exactly.
But that doesn't mean that the witchcraft couldn't have been also.
Oh no, you don't know what went on that land beforehand.
So
And
if
for
you're gonna
something
sit
like
there-
this to happen, there's
But that's
something-
I could believe that as far as like somebody was practicing witchcraft and invited something and this has happened and it's just stayed in that area.
right. Well, see, again,
compared
we're getting
to-
hung up on the word curse.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Compared to like a Native American curse in that land, because if I don't see any again, we don't know. 'cause
We don't know. Like, there's no evidence
there's
to
no
support
evidence
witchcraft.
to support. There's no evidence to support Native American
Anything
No,
curses.
in
true,
this
true,
show
you're
is
right.
conjecture at this point.
You know, because I'll sit there and go on go more towards witchcraft because it does fit in that time range.
I agree.
You know, I could sit there and see, in the middle of the woods in Connecticut, especially up there. I mean, the fucking Salem, Massachusetts was what, like 100 miles away from there? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I don't know. No, more than that. But
what I'm saying, it was closer than not.
New England again.
Yeah.
One of the first settlements. Ancient beliefs coming over. Don't know what the Indians got us meeting us here. You know, they hear everybody getting slaughtered. Who knows? We don't know. The thing is, everything we got here is pure conjecture, and nobody's going to be wrong on this one. It's just so let me ask a question of the audience. What do you believe? Do your little homework
that's
on
a good
it.
thing. We should start doing that at
What
the end
do
of
you
every
believe?
episode, should
Because
we?
You know what? We
Gee, I
can sit
thought-
here and go round and round all
8
day.
seasons later, we're going to ask the audience, what do you guys believe?
It's 160 miles away, Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay.
160 miles. Like, again, I understand it's what, 50, 60 years after that, maybe close to 70 after the whole
Well,
witch
1750,
trials,
The witch trials were in 16 or 15. I don't remember exactly.
I think it was 1690 something.
Yeah,
wasn't
I
it?
think you're right.
So I could see that being a thing. You know what I mean? Like,
1693.
yeah, 1693. So, it's
So-
40,
So
50 years after,
1692 to 1693. So you're talking about 50 years later.
But that's again, you're talking just about the Salem witch trial.
right. It's the Salem witch
You know,
trials.
you don't know about what
About 100 years later, that's when the spooky shit starts happening.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
when you're dealing with
But it's just like one death, and then like 20 years by, she gets struck by lightning, and then another 20 years go by, and then this woman goes gavadigots, and she goes crazy. You know what I mean? It's like it's isolated.
collectively for me. I mean,
Exactly, it's collective over a long period of time.
right. To me, I when you start messing around with ancient Indians, and this is nothing against
Native Americans,
Native
Dad.
Americans, whatever you want to call them. You know
Christ,
what?
we're
You
getting
don't
canceled.
know. You don't know how you don't know what their culture was about.
Well, it's not that we don't know
No
what their
one-
culture is about. And we have books and we have people telling us this is what the studies are and this is what the belief system is, and they like, as much as as much as the history has wronged the natives, we know like what their culture is about, and they're very spiritual people.
Correct.
And that's why I'm saying, and that's why I can sit there and believe it's more of a spirituality, witchcraft type thing
Right. All right.
than a curse, because the more you believe in something, the more. I mean, again, it go, like I could believe I can win $100 million tomorrow, and it's not gonna
You
happen.
know what?
You know, like
The power of belief.
yeah. So I'm just saying, like, it's going to this area. It's just. If more things are happening, like, what's the latest thing that's happened?
It was abandoned in 1900 or 1924.
Yeah, so like in the last 100 years, nothing. In the last 100 years, nothing has really happened.
No, except the
Majorly.
fact you can't get into the fucking place.
And that's where, that's where now the conspiracy theory government side comes into it, and that's to be determined for a later date because you have no information of what is actually there now.
True. Except
So-
woods and mountains.
Yeah. So that is again, Dudley. But yes, we are presented by Dudley, Dudleytown, Connecticut, and interesting history that went on with
right.
Dudleytown. I'll be honest, good choice with this, Anthony. I know
well,
you
good
chose.
choice, buddy.
I really enjoyed talking more of the history of the United States and the curses and stuff like that. That's why, you know what? Not that this is a plug, but like national treasure type shit. That shit always sits there, and I'm always interested in that type of stuff. But
I agree.
what do we have for the palette on next week, Ant?
I think next week. Well, let me not think. Let me tell you exactly what it is. Go from Curse of Dudleytown tonight to the Madden Curse,
Ooh.
which, I mean, listen, we're going to be recording that next week. So next week record time is going to be the week before the
It's
Super
going
Bowl.
up right after the Super Bowl, isn't it?
And this is going up right after the Super Bowl. So that's
By the time you hear this, you'll already know who won the Super Bowl.
exactly.
Well, no, not this episode. The Madden episode.
Okay.
This episode goes up the night of the Super Bowl.
correct.
2 weeks. Oh, so we're
Yes.
on 2 weeks. Okay.
Yep. So by this time, in 2 weeks, we will know if the Eagles will have won the Super Bowl
Or
or,
the
the
Chiefs.
Chiefs will have won the Super Bowl.
Let's go, Andy Reid.
But the next week after that, we have the Madden Curse. And
Yes.
then we have
So next
only-
week we talk about the Madden Curse, and again, if you don't know what the Madden Curse is, apparently, almost every person who has donned the cover of this Madden football game, John Madden football game, something has happened in that person's life or their career that set them off into a completely different course. The only person, and I know it pisses me off and probably pisses you off, but I think it's caught up to him this year because he shared the cover of Madden last year.
Tom Brady.
Is Tom Brady. Tom Brady donned the cover twice, and nothing happened to him. But 3 times now. He's donned the cover a third time, and that was last year, and we saw what happened to him in 2020.
Now, as a personal note, I'm gonna make this plea to it's in the long shot that Joe Douglas is listening, the GM of the Jets. Please, whatever you do, I don't care if you have to go I don't care. I do not want to see Brady in a Jet uniform.
Oh, no, I don't
Please, at all. I mean, if you're gonna bring him as a Jet uniform, then let us.
The only
all
number
know.
12 I want to see is Rodgers.
Yeah, I want to see Rodgers. Yeah, I do.
But thank you guys. This was a fantastic episode. I enjoyed talking about this with you guys. Now again, Is This Real? And Green Hour Media, now presented by Dubby. Go to dubby.gg, punch in your code Is This Real PC and get 10% off your order. And please follow us on the TikTok page, Is This Real PC, our website, greenhourmedia.org, which is back up and running. And please go follow our Patreon page where our Is This Real True Crime episodes are going on. It's a new show, Is This Real True Crime. We are 4 episodes in, and Patreon's only $1.
Starts as $1.
It's $1. What more do you want? So please go follow that. Please go follow our PC. Our TikTok Is This Real PC, and then you can see more of the space videos that Anthony puts up. And if you want to go follow the new Green Arrow Media Radio WGAM, we are on YouTube at WGAM Green Arrow Radio. That is our what is it called?
It's our call sign.
Not call sign. The oh, jeez, I always forget the name. But that's the name of our page, WGAM Green Hour Radio. We are on YouTube. Anthony will put that on the website. We have to dedicate its own page to WGAM. And we go live it's going to be from Tuesday to Fridays. We're going to go live at 12 o'clock mostly from Tuesday to Fridays with different music shows, me and Big Joe and other guests if we have them. So, again, thank you guys for joining. Anthony, thank you. Or Pope Tony, thank you.
You're welcome.
Big Joe, Dad, thank you.
Peace. Have a safe night, guys.
I'm JC3.
Adios,
Remember, guys,
motherfuckers.
question everything, and we'll catch you next week.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at Is This Real podcast, all one word,